Hi everyone, welcome to Amaranth. These are general messages for the collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus and Jupiter placements. Let's get into it. So the first card you have, Taurus, for today is Three of Lotuses. So there is a little bit of a Three of Cups energy in this, even though it's a little bit different than the traditional Rider-Waite deck interpretation. Lotuses are very sacred, they're very secret flowers. It's like representative of like soulful, whatever resonates with your soul. That's the lotus flower. It's also a very secret flower. And then there is Three of Lotuses out here. This lakefront, and then there is this kind of a palace. There's people hanging out. There's people riding the boats. There are people sitting in the backyard, kind of enjoying the view and things like that. So it's a very active, vibrant energy. For some of you, you could be traveling to places that have these kind of palatial, stays or hotels. Or you could just be, enjoying water sports or beach activities. For some of you, you could be into flowers, bouquets, lotus flowers. Lotus flowers is also a very sacred flower in terms of it's pure. It speaks to a lot of purity. It speaks to thriving in muddy conditions, right? That's where the lotus is. So this is about, the struggle and still blooming despite of the struggle. Here, the lotuses are blooming in water. It's not a muddy area. Lotuses can bloom in both marshlands as well as water as well. But underneath it, you see, like there is the mud. But anyhow, it's not kind of depicted like muddy waters. Yes, it's just water, right? But in general, lotus flowers symbolically means that the thriving in the muddy waters, like in difficult situations, in challenging situations. So there is like a transformative energy because you have transmuted those negative energies and you have turned them into tools of growth, development, of enlightenment, spiritual growth. There's a lot of spiritual growth associated with the lotus flowers, like spiritual rising, spiritual awakening, a lot of beauty, a lot of grace. Here also there's a lot of color and vibrancy. So I feel all of that is associated with, the connection to the divine sacredness. There is this powerful, hopeful energy. There's hope in this. There is growth. There is soulful connections. Also, there is like a realization of the self, who you are, what are you capable of. You're capable of thriving in the difficult of the situations. You're capable of rising above difficult situations. There is also an energy of a renewal, renewal in terms of soul renewals, or your renewal, your energy renewal, your spiritual renewals. That's what the lotus is, a very powerful spiritual symbol. So I also feel with this energy, there's a lot of group activity which is going on. Three of Cups is like, in general, like, three souls, three people, three communities coming together and celebrating, here it's like, enjoying, people coming together, celebrating, enjoying, doing outdoor activities. This could be family coming together, potluck energy, where you invite people over or they invite you, or it could be anywhere. So some of you Tauruses, you could be, and especially since the summer months are here, there is some downtime. So you could be, you could be inviting people over. You could be joining some clubs for activities. You could be just, meeting up with your friends. There could be some celebrations, some birthdays, some milestone achievements, also that you could be celebrating. Potluck, cookouts, barbecues, and all of that. And we, this month is a festive month in different ways, celebrating different cultures. There's also lotus festivals that a lot of communities celebrate, a lot of places, and it's beautiful. They put the lanterns and they just float the lotuses. For some of you, that could be significant as well. But otherwise, it's like a very open-hearted energy where you share a laugh, you meet with people, you're very generous, you cook for them, or they cook, or you are having potluck, a very social times. People share just like a community, belonging to a community event, So you might be receiving a lot of invitations. You might be sending invitations. So it's a good time for, for even for, I would say, hospitality. Some of you could be related to hospitality industry. It looks like a very hospitality industry related to restaurants, hotels. You could be managing that and things like that. I'm also seeing, and in my mind's eye, I'm seeing a lot of cocktails and mocktails. So some of you could be into that, preparing cocktails, mocktails, some kind of beverage. You could be associated with beverage industry. You could be, something also about I'm seeing like people dancing to music in circles, entertainment music. For some of you, you could be into music and entertainment industry as well. The next card you have, Taurus, is the humble honeybee. Humble honeybee. Further, it says work ethics. It says camaraderie. It says drive. Further down, it says golden. What is this? Golden gem adorning flowers. Give me strength to realize my dreams. Yeah, so the honeybee is a worker bee, right? It works as a team. It's a team player. And also, there is over here in the bee, in the center, there is a heart out here. Beautiful clover flowers, leaves, and flowers that it's surrounded with. So, and there's a little bit of a crescent moon right at the top of the bee, the head. So definitely this is an energy of working hard. And because the moon is there, it's like working, could be during the night times. You could have some shifts that you're working on, like, at the hospital, health workers. A lot of industries have double shift teams. So some of you could be part of the night worker team. Some of you could just be working up at night, burning the midnight lamp, like staying up until late hours. But here, the bee is actually a little bit of a different kind of vibe. Like the message over here is to not work too much and late at night. I feel the moon out here is more like gentle work, like behind the scenes kind of work where people are not able to see you. Like, even you create a movie, there are so many people that are working behind the scenes and only a few people come on camera. So some of you could be working like behind the scenes where people don't really know what you're doing. Also, I feel that whatever you're working on, you really like it because there's a heart right out here at the center of the bee. So something which you really like is what you're working on. Now, some of you could actually be in the bee industry, like, honey, bee industry, like Mimi, and bee ecosystems. You could be handling or honey or sweets, meat from honey and things like that. But outside of that, this is about working hard, having the ethics of routine. Some of you could be maintaining some kind of a routine. Like, you might be like waking up early, going for running walks, and then having a work schedule and things like that. Some people like it like organized. Some people like it like random. Some of you could be like more about work ethics. Camaraderie is about working with people. Like P is, and like the honey generation is a team effort. So you could be working as part of a dream. And also drive. It's like you're self-driven. You're self-driven. You just love what you do and you want to create whatever you're creating. And because it's like a beautiful energy and the output of the bee's hard work is honey, which is a sweet outcome. So I feel that your outcome also is going to be a sweet outcome. Like it might not be ready as yet, but I feel that whatever you're working in, I feel that you're putting in the work, you're devoted to it, just like the bee. And you're working behind the scenes, it's like you're not loud about it, you're working quietly and you're devoted to it. And I feel that the results are coming up. They're coming up one thing at a time because, when the honey is made in the honeycomb, there's like small cells where the honey is accumulated and later on it's collected into jars, right? So we just see the jar part of it, but before the honey is collected into the jars, it's already there in those honeycombs, like the small cells that are there in the honeycomb. So even though you may not see the full jar of honey as yet, the results are still sitting there, with your work. So the cells are filling up with the honey, and soon you will have a full jar of honey. But I feel that right now, because there is no jar which is shown, so I feel that the work is still in progress. The results are still accumulating. Now, I also feel because there is a work ethic, bees have a work ethic. They don't work after the sunset. They work only during the morning hours. Yeah, they're early risers. They start early, but they don't work after sunset. So I feel this is also encouraging you to be mindful of your working hours because, during, especially for those that are working at home, and there's a little bit of blurring of the working hours that we had, in corporate generally in the earlier times, in the older decades, in the old and good old days, they were set hours for working and then you drive back home and it was a kind of a set pattern. With hybrid and all of those work at home, the ethics the lines for when to soar, when to end kind of blur. I feel the bee is encouraging you to be mindful of your working hours. Like you don't need to work until so late. If you are in that energy, you don't need to burn the midnight oil. You don't need to, take calls and office updates and all of that. Some people are constantly checking their messages and you don't need to do that. So I do feel that you're working hard, you're working as part of a team. For some of you, you could be even creating, some kind of a side project. It doesn't have to be there is a single bee out here. You could be single-handedly also handling some kind of projects, or it could be because bees do work as part of groups. So some of you could be working as part of groups. Some of you could be working alone. It could go both ways with this picture out here on this deck. But I feel that this is more like a one thing at a time, step-by-step building of something. So there is a step-by-step building of your, your dreams. It says here, help me realize my dreams. So you are building it step-by-step, and you are getting there. The results are coming up. Now, for those of you that are part of teams, I feel that you're doing really good. It's like, you know how to collaborate, you know how to work together, share responsibilities and tasks, and you're doing a good job at that, whether it's any industry, it could be corporate, could be, could be fashion line, or could be sports, so you're like a good team player and you working well with your teammates. So I also feel that some of you could be moving to neighborhoods where there are a lot of people, it's like either you're living in some nature kind of place where there's a lot of beehives and bees or hives or something like that. It could be. But I feel that you're choosing to live around, like cool living. You could be sharing a room with a lot of people. You could be living in communities that have something in common, like shared spaces and things like that, shared working spaces or shared living spaces, because that's what the bee energy is. A lot of sharing, a lot of working together, lot of discipline and work ethics. And the last card for today, Taurus, you have is a message from the fairies, and it says, fairy spotting. Further, it says it's time to go fairy spotting. It is said that seeing is believing, but in fact, the opposite is true. Believing is seeing. Have you ever seen a fairy? Maybe you have, but you tried to explain it away with the voice of reason, or perhaps you are a fully fledged believer, or better still, a knower. You know fairies exist. Fairies can appear to us in many different ways. Being sensitive and open to experiences is helpful when fairy spotting, as it allows us to be more receptive to seeing these magical spirits of nature. They very often appear as flashes of light, darting around wooded areas or gardens, or if you're really lucky, inside your home. They can also manifest outside your line of sight, often in the corner of your field of vision, so you're not totally sure if there's anything at all. Sometimes they can be felt intuitively, seen only in your mind's eye. They may also bring a flowery scent or unusual smells, rather like toffee apples or popcorn. When they appear in the full form, it's a true privilege, for they're rightly wary of humans. You could try photographing fairies even if you can't see with your own eyes. A camera can often pick up a fairy essence, which may appear as a beam of light or a tiny orb. The best place to do this is out in nature, either in your garden or in woodlands. Midsummer seed is a particularly good time to look for fairies. You're most likely to see a fairy if you care about nature and the environment, as they will be more willing to connect with you. So, fairies in some way could be around, some themes around fairies, whether it's dresses or you spotting some fairies or seeing some movies and totems about fairies or using them in your pictures. So some kind of a fairy theme. Also, it's like, sometimes we just don't believe, things just flash by, or we see it in the corner of our eye and we dismiss it. So I feel this energy is asking you to pay attention to things that you see at the corner of your eye, or just at the blink and you feel like, oh, it was nothing. If you have those moments, then it actually was something. Some of you could be trying out toffee apples or scents around that. There's popcorn. Popcorn comes up when we're, hanging out with friends, watching movies and things like that. So very social energy and food. So fairy themes could be something front and center for you in the next few days. So Taurus, those were your messages and hope they resonated with you. Now moving on to the sign of Virgo. So the first card you have for today, Virgo, is the Weaver. So, it's a beautiful energy. It's a little different from the other decks. This card is not there in the other decks. So if we see over here, there is a snowy mountain, snowy pastures, rocks, and then there is this angelic-like figure that is sitting on this snow mountain here, and weaving threads, right? Weaving these threads. She has a tool to weave the threads, and as she's weaving the threads, they're going up along with the aurora borealis. So basically, the weaver, if for those of you, that have seen the intricate process of weaving, it's like, one thread below the other, one thread above, one thread below. That's the pattern, right? It's a very binary, like on top, under, over, under, over, under. That's the pattern of which this weaving is done for the most part. So weaving is like, so for some of you, this could be that your actual creators or actual artisans, weaving, crafting, crochet, knitting, even cloth manufacturing, right? The small threads are weaved in together to make the bigger cloth. So for some of you, it's related to the textiles or buying textiles, thread counts, weaving industries. You could be participating, learning, taking a course around those. Even today, macrame products are really popular. So for some of you, you could be learning how to do crochet or macrame. But in general, it's a very planned, it's a very methodical craft. You know, it's not a random haphazard, like you put one thread anywhere. It's a very planned kind of a craft. It has to go methodically, otherwise the threads, they stick out, you know, like a sore thumb. So for it's a planned thing. So for some of you, you could be doing something creative, which is planned. You could be, you know, it's also a very intricate thing. So I don't know. I mean, it could be in the weaving industry. That's what I'm getting really strong with, you know, textiles, handloom, all of that. But for others of you, you know, it could be that you are, you know, creating something, you know, could be in the crafts that requires a lot of skill. You know, I mean, especially with skill is associated with your career house and with the Gemini house, right? And Gemini, which is all about understanding processes, it's the air sign. So Uranus being in Gemini, it's about newer ideas, uniqueness, you know, details, especially for Virgo, you know, you're detail-oriented, 6th house energy. So there is something like highly detailed which you are creating, which you're working on. It could be in corporate, but it requires a lot of depth. It requires a lot of detail. And Virgos, that's your signature, right? Detail-oriented energy is your signature. So for some of you, it could be something that you're working on in terms of corporate. Now, Mercury being you know, in retrograde definitely needs a mention, because things and glitches do happen at this point in time. You know, things get scattered, data gets lost, even the words get lost in translation. So just be mindful of that. Yeah, especially when it comes to detail. Mercury retrograde can actually cause a lot of problems. So double check your data, double check all the steps and the processes. Now, for some of you, this can just be you weaving your destiny, or universe weaving your destiny. You know, it's like you putting things together in order to create something big for yourself. You know, it's like you could be changing up jobs behind the scenes. You know, there's nobody out here on the mountain. She's doing it by herself. So for some of you, this could be starting off projects that nobody knows about, or nobody has been told about, or you have not announced this change. For some of you, it could be that as well. This can also be, you know, something to do with knitting, weaving, quilt, and all of that. You could be involved with those businesses, or you could be doing that as pastime, as a hobby. For some of you, this could be, you know, I'm also picking up like modern textiles, like, you know, like the machines plus the textile, you know, because Uranus and Gemini will create some kind of invention, right? It's a new breakthrough moment. So for some of you, you could be introducing like newer ways of weaving, or newer ways of handloom, newer ways of artisanal creations through machines. You know, that's for some of you, like integrating the machines with the handlooms. Now, there's also energy of being intertwined, right? Like being intertwined. Now, it can also be like people being intertwined with each other, or deals also, like, you know, this vendor is intertwined with that because they get the raw material from that, and they're all tangled in together. For some of you, could be working in environments where there's so many contractors and companies that are interwoven in order to get the final product out. So some of you could be working in those kind of environments as well. But there's a lot of people, lot of moving parts, and each one is equally important in creation of something. So for some of you, that could be of some significance. But otherwise, it's also a very good energy for, you know, planning things. For some of you, it could be like you're working with a lot of cables or wires and things like that. You're trying to put it in those boxes, organize, arrange it, or something like that can also be possible with this energies. For some of you, this could be like you being very, Virgo energy is always very methodical, always organized, always planned, always kind of, especially for those that are working, you have like the to-do list and the project plans, and everything's documented that way. Virgos are very. Now, for some of you, this can also be an energy of tying up threads, like tying up loose ends. So you could be completing jobs, completing projects that were half done. You're like completing the things, right? And I feel that, this is a very good and important time. If you manage to complete your unfinished tasks, I feel that this will lead to newer, better, bigger opportunities for you in the future. So it's a good time to wrap up tying up loose ends. For some of you, that could be relevant as well. For others of you, this can also be intertwined people. It's like you might be working in groups or collaborating or meeting people or something where people are intertwined with each other. It could be some kind of a group activity, group event, or a hobby or something related to neighborhood where everybody has a task assigned and they have to like kind of complement each other, work with each other. So for some of you, it could be, like kind of meeting new people or working together with a lot of people that are intertwined together. The next card you have for today, Virgo, is the Loving Lobster. And it further says simplicity, steadfastness, and safety. And further it says, curious creature exploring deep waters, guide me to a new discovery. So do you want to, discover something? You could be a scientist, you could be a researcher, you could be trying new things. There's so much development going on. So some of you could be in those areas where you're discovering something new, or you want to, or you're very close to. You have the data, the facts, and everything. You're just almost there. Just before you get the final outcome or final discovery or something like that. For some of you, it could be that as well. Now, discovery doesn't have to be like, a world-changing discovery. It could be anything. It could be like you're working in corporate and you are trying to, put systems together. It's still not working. Some glitches here and there. And finally, you're like that close to making it work or assembling all the parts together to make things work. So it could be that as well. It could be discovery of defects as well. So defects that are causing glitches in the systems, So it could be those kind of discoveries. So discovery could be anything, like something that you were not aware of, something that you have been probably trying to dig up or research up or wondering what's going on. Now, for some of you, this could be just finding new things, It says, you curious creature exploring deep waters. So it's something about going deep, guide me to a new discovery. So it's like you're hoping to find something new, in the deeper waters. So I don't know now, deep waters, depth could be something relevant. It could be the depth. Maybe it's a closet. Maybe you have to get, you have to dig your hands like really deep inside and figure something, or you'll discover something under your clothes or in your drawer, maybe in places of depths that have, that are deep. For some of you, it could be a refrigerator that you discover something. And the last card for today, Virgo, you have is a message from your fairies, and it says, precious time. Further, it says, the fairy of time wants you to experience every moment fully and to make the most of your precious time. Be mindful not to waste other people's time as well. Are you a clock watcher, or does it feel like the days are passing you by? The fairy of time wants you to experience every moment fully, even in peaceful solitude or meditation. Make the most of your time on earth and celebrate the magic gift of life. With time comes age, and with age often comes wisdom, which makes wisdom a precious gift from time, if you learn the lessons that time has gifted to us. Perhaps you feel as though you never have enough time to do all the things you need to, but it's our attitude to time that dictates the way it impacts our lives. further, it says in fairyland, time isn't linear. So fairies don't feel the same restrictions and confines of time that we experience here in the human realm. If you're governed by time and are always glancing at your watch, try taking it off and notice how it makes you feel. Feeling free within time is a beautiful experience. Beware of time, but don't be ruled by it, and always make time for yourself. This card could also be saying that you're about to learn a timely lesson. It's also important to respect the time of others. Are you always fashionably late? If so, set your alarm a little earlier, arrive on time, and surprise everyone. So yeah, time is precious. We all know that. So I feel there are some things around time management, and things like that that could be playing out for you. So Virgo, those are your messages, and hope they resonated with you. Now moving on to the sign of Capricorn. So the first card for today, Capricorn, you have is the infinite path. So this is number 19, so 1, 9, and 20 are coming through strong with this energy. It's a very interesting deck out here. It's very different. The major arcana is very different from the others. Here you have, in the picture you see, there are 3 figures, right? But on the left is the black. Center one is like fully present here. And the right one is, again, a shadow kind of a futuristic energy. So it's this person's past, present, and future, right? That's what is shown out here. And then there is this, the threads that are, or you can call it like infinite paths. Like these are the different paths, the different routes that are available, or the routes and paths that this person has walked on to get here, and also the paths that this person will walk on in the future. And they're all bright and nice. You know, there is no dark energy out here. There's no dark path out here. So I feel that, you know, it's like, it's telling you that there is infinite paths, which means multiple paths. There is multiple doors, multiple options, multiple ways of doing things, multiple ways of, making money, multiple career choices and things like that. This can also be paths to work as you drive. It could be for some of you. But basically, Capricorn, your second house is out of Aquarius. And right now, Aquarius is hosting Pluto, which is a transformative energy. And second house is the traditional Taurus energy, which is about finances, land, property, and all of that. So I feel that Pluto in your second house of Aquarius is now transforming the way you make money. It could be that multiple streams of income. And if you see over here, like all the paths are all bright and nice, which means that it's telling you that all the paths that you have right now that you're working on or that are opening up for you that probably did not exist for you a few months back or a few years back, now they are becoming available to you. So you can pick one, you can pick any one path and it's going to be good, or you can pick multiple paths or multiple streams of income as well. Now, the only caveat with the current planetary retrograding Mercury is confusion. And for you, Capricorn, Mercury is in your 7th house, which is the house of Cancer. And 7th house is also the house of partnerships. So you have to be a little bit mindful about anything to do with partnership, whether personal or business. Don't assume things, double check, cross check things and all of that, because retrograde energy always causes confusion. And here it's in your house of partnerships. So any confusion around partnerships needs to be talked about, worked, and double and cross checked. So basically for some of you with this multiple infinite paths, it's like you could be checking out different career choices, or if you're a student, you could be checking out multiple universities. For those of you who are interested in side gigs, you could be exploring that as well. For some of you, it's like, you have like multiple offers and you need to select one out of those. I feel that the one that, if you do have multiple choices and options of jobs or of a certain goal, if you have multiple choices, then this energy is recommending you to pick the one where which is bright, which feels brighter, which has more people that are more brighter outlook, like interacting with nice people. There's more visibility. People are collaborating well. So if that path is available to you versus another one, of course it's both are going to take you to the destination, right? It's just like a mountain. You can climb from any side of it. You're going to eventually get to the top. So it's that similar energy that no matter which path you choose, you're going to get to the destination. But the path that this one is encouraging you, in case there is choices or you're confused, is the one that has more visibility, more warmth, more people connection, and things like that. So that can help you choose the path. Now, for some of you, this could be you're exploring your neighborhood, you're walking through neighborhoods, or you find mountains, you're hiking, biking, and all of those, you're discovering different paths around you through GPS. Now, figuratively and literally, also this means that there could be multiple ways of doing things. Like, when we have to, what do you call, cook? So we can cook multiple things or multiple ways of making the same thing. Even at work, corporate, there could be multiple ways of doing one of accomplishing a task. And here this energy saying that don't be hung up on just one way of doing it. Don't be that rigid. So you need to be a little bit more flexible so that you're not burnt out, you're not stressed out. You can try multiple ways. You can experiment, explore, be open-minded, and less rigid about, which way to go. So you can just try on the fly and see how things are developing, how they're working, instead of being really stuck in certain ways. Now, others of you can also be, walking in. And for some of you, this can also mean that you're just, in sunny places. You're trying to explore some sunny places. You're trying to walk around, bike around. It could be trailing or walking on trails in some sunny areas. For some of you, it could be that. But a lot of sun energy, a lot of solar energy, a lot of sunlit, sun-kissed kind of a vibe. For some of you, solar power, solar funds could be of significance, or solar-powered devices and instruments. You could be invested into something like that. Or it could be just, summer is here, you could be just enjoying the sun outside, sunbathing, or even sunflowers. I'm seeing in my mind's eye some sunflowers. So some of you might be interested in some sunflowers as well. The next card you have, Capricorn, is the warrior wolf. And it further says intelligence, instinct, protection. Below it says fierce hunter and protector. Be the guardian and guide of my journey. Yeah, so it's definitely a guide, like a mentor energy coming through this. This can be you, this can be somebody around you. Warrior wolf, somebody who's strong, who is protective of themselves, who knows how to protect themselves and to protect their pack or their team. Now, in real world, it could be, law enforcement. It could be you being a leader, cheerleader for your team, a manager that's protective of their team. This could be you protecting your own self from any kind of harm, your health, your time, your energy. Protective of that, protective of your home. Could be you're installing some security systems and things like that or fences in order to protect your home. It could be protector of your pets if you have pets. So whatever, you're in a warrior protective energy. And this is not like a negative kind of an aggressive energy. It's not a aggressive energy. This is like, the one thing about wolf that I had read long time ago was they lead from behind. They support or protect from behind. Like they're at the last and then they want their entire pack to walk in front. So it's that kind, leading from behind kind of energy. So yeah, definitely there is like instincts. So your gut instincts is going to be giving you signals that you should not be ignoring. Sometimes Capricorn, you're ruled by Saturn and you're an earth sign. here this energy is asking you to trust your gut instincts, you know. I mean, generally it's like the water sign, so you could have some water placements. But if not, this is, or even fire placements. Fire placements are also really big on intuition. So trusting your gut feelings to make decisions, to read the room, to read the environment, to understand what's right, what's genuine, what's fake, and things like that. You'll pick up on hints, you know, from people, their body language, or reading in between the lines. So your instincts are going to be really powerful. And when it comes to the wolf energy, there is always a cleverness and smartness and intelligence, right? They know how to navigate the any path, and you have the infinite paths energy right before this. So I feel that among the many paths that are available to you, you can feel it which one is the right one for you. So yeah, so I feel that you're going to trust your that instincts over maybe your over logic. Sometimes our logic detours us, but I feel that mind and heart and gut instincts, if they are in alignment with each other, they work the best. Now, noteworthy mentions in regards to retrograde is Mercury, which is in your 7th house, Capricorn, which is the house of partnerships. So with Mercury retrograding, and of course over here it says warrior wolf, sometimes, you know, because of Mercury retrograde, there could be some communication problems or some technological problems that could disrupt partnerships, whether it's business or personal partnerships. So I feel that talking about communication will really benefit you at this point in time, like real communication and asking periodic check-ins. You know, coming together. If there's a big decision you have to make in regarding to partnerships or people or groups of people, engage them and hear out everybody's opinion. Just don't go it alone because that might cause some resentments in people. So that's something to be careful of. I also feel that this could be also about your finances, right? I mean, production could be anything, like whether you're reselling your portfolio or buying insurances for protecting your family or your finances, or even mentorship energy, right? It says over here, guardian, mentorship, guide me. So there is a guardian, there's a guidance. You could be guiding, you could be receiving guidance, you could be mentoring, you could be the one who's getting mentored. So a lot of mentoring, guiding energy also with this, and it could be in any area. So I feel that the underlying current is that you need to take your path, you know, because there's infinite paths, right? You're moving forward, you're choosing paths, you're choosing directions, and I feel that whichever direction you pick, you're going to take your path protecting things that matter to you on that path. So it could be that for those of you, Capricorn, like, you know, if you are choosing to relocate for a job, I feel that you're going to take your family with you. Or even if they stay back, you're going to be like fully protective, like, okay, everything's covered, everything's taken care of, and now I can go work remote or work at different location or travel for work. So for some of you, it could be that kind of a setup as well. And the last card for today, Capricorn, you have is a message from the fairies, and it says, ask for help. Further, it says, angels are celestial beings who protected everyone. And the fairies say, now is the time for you to ask for angelic assistance. There are times in our lives when we need celestial assistance, and that time may be now. Angels are omnipresent, non-denominational beings who can be called upon for help by anyone at any time for any kind of assistance, from cleaning the congested traffic to fast healing after a medical procedure. Perhaps you're very independent and feel that you can sort out everything and anything on your own without help. Fairies too are generally self-sufficient creatures and can usually deal with any challenges that might arise. But on occasion, even the fairies need a little divine intervention and may ask an angelic helping hand. It makes perfect sense. If we humans can call on the angels, why wouldn't the fairies ask for angelic intervention too? This card may be telling you that an angelic boost would be beneficial for you or someone you know at this time. So yeah, you can meditate and call on the angels, archangels, Archangel Michael, Raphael, Ariel, Uriel. There is a lot of archangels, and even each one of us is assigned an angel at the time of birth. So if you can look that up, spiritual numbers and fairies or guardians and angels assigned to us, you can meditate on those energies. Call for any kind of help, whether it's you're stuck in a situation, you need to make a decision, or you need some help to pull in the resources. The fairies and angels, angelic support is available to you, Capricorn. Further, it says with this card, the fairies are encouraging you to call on a personal guardian angel to help you through any tricky situation you may be experiencing. The fairies will also spring some fairy dust on you to give you some cheer and joy during challenging times, or even if you just need a fairy boost. Be aware that sometimes fairies are referred to as the angels of nature or nature angels, that they're not celestial angels. The roles are very different from one another, though they sometimes meet somewhere in the middle. Remember that there are no rules and that the angels are happy to work with fairies and humans alike when it's for the highest good of all. So yeah, a lot of angelic support is available to you, Capricorn. If there is any area you feel that you're doing it alone and the journey is getting hard, so feel free to call on the angelic support or fairy support. So Capricorn, those were your messages and hope they resonated with you. So thank you guys for joining. Please subscribe and hit the like if you enjoyed the content, and I will see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Bye for now.